Hi everyone, it's Crafty Tina's. Today's video is going to be about making a bookmark book to give as a Christmas present. We're still doing our Christmas in July, and I wanted to gift some bookmarks. Now, a little backstory, the reason I want to gift some bookmarks is every year at Christmas I have certain kids that I give 12 books to. Now, I don't buy new ones. I go to thrift stores. This book is like in mint condition. I buy 12 books for each kid, age appropriate, and I wrap each one of them in Christmas paper or in regular paper. And then I put 1 month on all 12 books, January, February, March. So the first of every month, they get to unwrap a new book. It's just a way to give them a Christmas present that's not going to be a plastic toy on the floor. It gets them into reading, hopefully, and it gives their library quite the little collection by the end of the year. So that is why I wanted to do bookmarks, because I have a lot of kids now that are in chapter books, and they're not going to read this entire book in one setting. They're going to need a bookmark. So I thought it would be really cute if they could make their own bookmarks. So this year I decided to use my cinch machines and make them a book where they can make their own bookmarks. So the whole idea is inside this book, and this is a 1/4 page size, 5.5 by 4 1/4. Just put a pretty little cover sheet. Are bookmarks. Here's January through December, and here are blank ones. They have a little dotted line here so they know to use their scissors, preferably not their mother's fabric scissors. They're going to cut along the dotted line. I am going to include 4" by 5.5" piece of clear vinyl. I'm also going to go ahead and fold it and make sure that it's folded really good using a bone folder. And I'm gonna also include these in the box with the book. And I'm also going to punch the hole in the clear vinyl and round the edges. And I'm going to show you how to do all of that and get it set up. The whole idea is so that they could color their own month. They could put little stickers. I'm going to include some tiny stickers to go along the side. I'm going to put a note in this front area telling them to create their bookmark front and back, cut along the dotted line, and with an adult's help, put it inside the clear vinyl. Now, some of the older kids will understand to put it in there and close it up, but some of the younger ones will need some help. In the box with the notebook and the clear vinyl, I'm also going to add some string, some yarn, and some beads, because I'm going to have the hole already punched in the vinyl. So as soon as you fold this over, the hole's already going to be there. It's not through their coloring or drawing. It's in the clear part at the top. I'm going to round the edges and put the hole in there, so when they fold this close, it's ready to go, and they can add a tassel or string, ribbon, whatever they want. It's going to be in a cute little box set. So we're Christmas in July. This is a Christmas gift I'm giving with the books. So let's get started. I'm going to show you how to make the book, how to line up the holes to get the bookmarks in here side by side. And if you want, you can hop over to my Facebook page, and you will get 3 PDFs. One of them has the first 8 months, then you have the rest of the months, then you have 12 clear. So there's 3 PDFs. You have 8 clear, 4 and 4, 4 and 4. So these are going to be in my files on my Facebook page, along with other printables for your notebooks. So make sure you hop over there and get them if you want. If not, you can simply make these yourself. I used Silhouette Studio to make these. You can use your Cricut. I don't know what, I think it's Cricut Studio, or any PDF or designing program such as Publisher. So if you want it to be just like this, I just wanted the months so they could color the months, put little stickers on the side, and be able to cut it out of their little notebook. So let's get started. I'm going to show you how to make the whole notebook and put the elastic in using your crocodile. Now, because I did 6, you can do this with your mini cinch or your original cinch. Let's go over what supplies you're going to need. You're going to need your wire, 2-to-1 pitch. This one is 9/16, and you're going to need 6 of them. For this machine, punches 6 at one time. I'm trying to make notebooks that you can use in either machine. This one punches 6 all the way up to 12, but it is flexible because you can tell this machine what holes to punch and what holes not to punch. I'm even going to use this machine to punch the hole in the center of the vinyl. So, you're going to need 2 pieces of chipboard, and this is for your top and bottom of your notebook. 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. If you're going to put a decorative page in the front cover or any other full-size pages, you're going to need them to be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I just have these here so I can show you how to punch the holes. Now the bookmarks themselves are 2 inches by 5 1/2. If you are going to go to my Facebook page and get the printout, I made it super easy for you guys. Let's grab a cutter. I was scoring, but now we're on cutting. This is an 8 1/2 by 11, so you need this to be 8 inches. All you're going to do is cut off a 1/2 inch on this side. So this is the Works. We Are Memory Keeper, the Works. My cutting thing is too big to put over here, so I'm going to show you on this. You simply take the edge of your paper to the 8 and cut the 1/2 inch off the side. Now you have 8 inches exactly. You're now going to cut at 5 1/2 because these are quarter pages. So we're going to go to the 5 1/2 mark and we're going to cut this page in half. And now I have these 2. Now we're going to go 2, 2, 2, and then the last one will be already 2 inches. So I don't know if this will cut. This is very heavy. This is like cover cardstock, not the usual. So we're going to just do one at a time. So we're going to go to 2 inches and we're going to cut 2 inches and 2 inches. So now we have 4 bookmarks that are 2 inches across and 5 1/2 inches long. And you just do the same thing with the rest of them. Even the ones that aren't labeled, see, I can't talk and measure at the same time. Even the ones that aren't labeled with a month, the blank ones, you still cut the exact same way. And that is, you cut the 1/2 inch off, then you cut it at 5 1/2, and then you do 2, 2, 2, and 2, because these are 2 inches across. And that is how you get the bookmarks. I'll put that to the side. We have things falling. So you have 12 months and you have 12 blank. You can choose to put your months side by side and do 6 and 6. I chose to do 12 and 12 because I want the child receiving this to be creative. So I wanted them to have the blank ones over here. So let's see. You're going to want to make sure that you put yours in order. February, March, April, May. Okay. So now we have all of these. It looks like we stop at August. So I'm going to cut out September, December, and the blank ones. So I can show you on these. Again, you have to open up. If you have this cutter, you have to open it up in order to get to the 8. You're going to cut off the 1/2 inch because this is 8 1/2. You're going to put this at 5 1/2. And now we're going to cut 2, 2, and 2. And we're going to try doing, oh, here we go. It does too. It's much better when you can cut multiples. If you have the stack cutter and you're cutting a lot, I recommend using it, especially if you're going to use really heavy cardstock for this. So now I want to add September, October. Make sure you put them in order because the kid will call you out on it in December. We can put that underneath our months. And now we need 12 of the blank ones. I'm missing one somewhere. Probably in this stack over here. They are super thick, so I'm not used to... They don't have to be thick because they're going in the vinyl. I just had some really heavy cover stock I wanted to use. It's kind of an off-white, and I don't really care for it for a lot of projects. So we're going to go back to the 8 mark. We're going to cut the blank sheet now. Remember, we're taking off the 1/2 inch. And now we're going to cut at half, 5 1/2. And now we want to make our 2-inch bookmarks. It's very difficult when you're trying to work on top of other things. I don't think this goes all the way through these very well. It doesn't seem to like the cover stock. There we go. Maybe we will press down a little harder. There we go. So they're all 2 inches. That's why you're cutting off the 1/2 inch so that the page goes from 8 1/2 down to 8. So now we have our blank ones. Sorry about that. I thought I already had them cut. I will probably find them later sitting to the side. So maybe cut them one at a time if you're using that type of cutter and a really thick paper. So now we have 12 and 12, and these are very thick. They're heavier than the 110 pounds. I'm not really sure what it is because it doesn't have a label on it anymore. Once we have our bookmarks, we need our covers, and I've already made one of them. And then I'm going to show you how to make one of the covers in case you haven't seen my other videos. For the vinyl, I'm using the Dollar Tree vinyl paper. It's just adhesive vinyl and it's glittery. I like that it's thin. It wraps around the notebook really well. So I'm cutting this an inch bigger than my chipboard. This is 5 1/4 by 6 1/2. This is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 because I want a 1/2 inch all the way around to fold over. And then I'm just simply going to pull the backing away so there's no little air bubbles inside. Then we cut our corners off, making sure we don't go too close to the chipboard. Going too close to the chipboard will allow the chipboard to be seen when you fold over the corners, or when you fold over the sides at the corner. And as you can see, there's more on one side than the other. That is perfectly fine because you're not going to see that. This is simply going to be on the inside. And it's going to be hidden by the next piece of vinyl. So now that we have all 4 sides folded in, I'm going to make sure that this is stuck to the chipboard. This is glitter, but it doesn't feel like glitter. It's very smooth. Now the inside piece needs to be a 1/4 inch smaller than the chipboard. So this is 4 by 5 1/4 instead of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. You're simply taking off a 1/4 inch from both measurements. We're going to take our vinyl for the top, and we're simply just going to place it so that it covers up the chipboard and it has this little border. When you use this glitter vinyl, it really blends in. It's almost seamless, like you can't even tell there's a seam here. So now this is the top for our book. Now another thing that I added was I added a pretty little paper as the first page. When you opened it, I want to put the child's name here, so I wanted this extra little piece. This is truly optional. So now I have a front cover, my optional paper, my 2 stacks of bookmarks, and my back cover. So I am ready at this point to punch. Now I made the first book using the original cinch, so I'm going to show you how I did it, but we're going to make this one with the mini cinch, because I want one with square holes and one with round holes. If you're using the regular cinch, we are punching 6 holes. So if you hop over to my Facebook page, you will see that I have a cinch log. We're using a 5.5, and I'm doing 6 holes. 5.5 this way, guys, but we're using the 4.25. So 4.25 with 6 holes. I'm going to set my machine at 1.5. I am so sorry. Always double check. This is 4.25. 4.25, 6 holes. We set the machine at 1 3/8. That's what I did for this one. That's why I paused, because I'm like, that's not where I set the machine. 1, 2. So we are going to put this at 1 3/8. Because I'm punching 6 holes, I'm going to push in 1 through 6, and I'm going to pull out 7 through 12. This will allow me to punch the 6 holes in the center of my 4.25 page. So the same amount of space is on each side. Now for the bookmarks, and I had it written down here what I did. Lovely. I think I just threw the one away that has the actual measurement. But what I wanted to do was, I wanted the bookmark to be here. I needed to leave this little bit of space here. So I needed my slider to come in just a little. So I'm going to bring it into 1 1/4. And I'm pretty sure that is where I had it at. Let's give it a try. And that looks exactly right. So now when this goes here with the wires, I have this little edge here. So this is set at 1 3/8. And your bookmark is set at 1 1/4. I'm gonna hold that here for a second so you guys can see it. And that is how you set up using the original cinch. So now let's see how we're gonna set this up using the mini cinch, because again, I can't push and pull the buttons. We can move these out of the way now. For the mini cinch, we're simply going to test it first, and then we're going to punch. This paper is representing our book is 4 1/4, where the wires are going. With the mini cinch, it has measurements starting at 0 and going out. So 4 1/4 gets put at 4 1/4 on this side and 4 1/4 on this side. The downside is there's nothing to hold this up against to get all the pages the same. You have this little guide over here to hold it up against. You don't have that luxury over here. But it goes 4 1/4 to 4 1/4 because we have our center. For the bookmarks, they're 2 inches by 5.5. We only care about the 2 inches. I need 3 here. Because I'm putting them in the book like this, basically I need to line both of them up at 0. The ones on the left get lined up on the left side of 0. The ones on the right will get lined up on the right side of the 0. And that is because there's more space on the ends than there is in the center. So let's do the first one. And then let's do the left one. We don't want to center them because they won't match the binding. We need the extra space on the sides, not in the center. That's why the right side, so if the right side's going to be blank, then all the blank ones are going to be done on the right side of 0. If the left ones are all going to be the actual days of the month, then they're going to go on the left side. And that is all there is to measuring it up. Pretty interesting, huh? Both machines a little different on the measurement, but for the most part they do the same thing. This one does not do as thick as this one, so guys, don't punch as much in this one. You're going to have to use more punches. So we're going to line it up at 4 1/4, and I'm going to do everything face up. You need to be consistent because there's no guide to hold it. This one also doesn't cut as clean as this one, so I like to give it a few tries to make sure it gets the cut. So we're doing it face up, so I'm going to lay it over here. I'm going to do this by itself. 4 1/4 on each side. Now I'm going to move my bookmarks, and this is my back. And even though this is the inside, because this is my little seam here, I'm not going to flip it over because this is the back. I want everything face up, which means I'm looking at the inside of the back cover. Now I have all 3 pieces punched for this machine. Now I want to punch my bookmarks. This has a 15-page limit, but I don't do 15, I do like 10. So we're going to do 4 of these heavy ones at a time. And guys, they are not cut straight because I was cutting in a hurry. So we're going to want this side flush, the top flush, and put it in on the right side because this is the right stack of 0. I'm going to do 4 more. We're going to make the left side flush and the top flush and do it on the right side of 0. And the last stack, because it's 4. Again, this side flush, the top flush at 0. And now we have the right side with the extra on the right side. Now we're going to do the left side, same way, everything right side up. We're going to make sure the right side is flush and the top is flush. We're going on the left side of the 0 this time. And because these are in order, I'm going to flip it upside down. I'm going to go 4 again. Right side and top is flush. We're going to go to the 0. And now the last 4 with the right side flush and the top flush. And on the left side of 0. And now we have our extra space is on the left. And on this stack, the extra space is on the right. This will allow us to put our book together just like that. Okay. We're going to use our double loop wire that's 9/16. This machine says you're supposed to use a 3/8. I don't have 3/8, and 9/16 is as close as, I'm sorry, 5/8. 9/16 is what I have, 5/8 is what's recommended. I've been using the 9/16 and it's been working great, so I'm just going to keep going with it. Before we do anything, we want to take that back cover, holding it exactly like we took it off, put it on top. And because this is a little more complicated, you can hang this on the side because it's not a split wire. When we do the split wires, it's harder to hang. So now I can put my right side on the right, my left side on the left, the stack, which is always the inside piece, the front cover, and then the back with the inside facing up. We do this so that the seam stays on the inside. So now we have everything going. We're going to simply put this in the back of the machine all the way flush to the back. We have to hold those back open wire pieces to the back of the machine in order to get a nice round clamp. And now we have this seam is on the inside of our book, not on the outside. And I realize this cover is the same size as the paper, so sometimes based on how you hold it, it's gonna flop out. It's not important. This book is made for being creative. You're gonna come in here, and I actually wrote on my pretty paper, so that looks like a great place for a sticker, don't you think? There's gonna be a sticker put there. This is for creativity. It's allowing the child or young adult to color and draw their bookmarks for their chapter books they're getting for Christmas. So now let's add the elastic. So we're going to flip it over to the back. And if you have a bookbinding tool with this hole, I'm going to show you what that's for. I'm not sure I've ever shown you before because I usually just eyeball it and go with it. Using a felt tip or something that's going to fit in that hole, you're simply going to line it up with the cover and color your hole. You're going to do the same thing with the other side. You're going to line it up and color your hole. And the only thing this is doing is getting your marks exactly the same amount of distance from the inside and the bottom, just so that they're even. We're using the 3/16 eyelets, and we're using the We Are Memory Keepers Crocodile. We're simply going to look through the hole, find our mark. I doubt very seriously you guys can see that, and punch it out. And you get that little thingy out so that you can see the next one, and you're going to punch. Now we have our two holes. We're ready to add our piece of elastic that was sitting here. I'm telling you guys, everything is vanishing from this desk. I'm just simply going to grab another piece of elastic. I got this on Amazon. I was using just regular white elastic, and I saw the pretty colors, and I just had to have the pretty colors. We basically need to wrap it around the whole book and come past the holes just a little bit, because we are going to pull it a little tight. No need to secure the ends or burn them, because you're going to have them clamped and then cut away. I like to cut a little angle. It just helps feed it through the hole a little bit better. Now we're going to go from the top to the bottom. We're just going to leave a little bit on the side, just enough so I can pull it and cut it. Both of them are facing the outside of the book, and I'm going to put the little eyelet, just going to push it right in there with the elastic. Sometimes you have to wiggle it a little bit to get it in there. Once it's in there, the top smooth side goes where the knob is on your crocodile. So we're going to put that in there, and then we're going to squeeze. I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to make sure there's no rough edges because this book is for a child. Then I'm going to pull the little tail and snip it off. Now we need to wrap it all the way around the book. I want to make sure it's not twisted. If you're going to put any kind of beads or anything, now's the time to do that. You can put beads on here, sliders, anything you want. Now is the time to put that on there. So I'm going to put it inside the little hole. I'm trying to look around the camera. So I'm going to put it in there first, then I'm going to hold it down and then see if it fits snug. If it's a thin book such as this one, you can also just get it close to being all the way closed. Leave it loose, and that's perfectly enough. Perfect amount to get it around there. So now we're holding both of these ends this way so we can push our little eyelet in the hole again. We're going to wiggle it. The knob part goes in the front smooth part. And we're going to smash it. We're going to make sure there's no little metal pieces sticking up. That's why I use the metal of my scissors. You can use anything you want. Metal to metal works a little better. Then you're going to pull this piece of elastic and cut. Now I can close my book and have a piece of elastic to keep those pages from coming out. And that actually allowed it to be at the bottom of the page to hold it more snug. I'm going to gift this with some small stickers. It's easy to find little bitty stickers. I think these are creative memories. Somebody gave these to me, so I don't know actually where you buy these. I think they're super old. But having these itty bitty stickers to go with these bookmarks, because I purposely put the month on the side so that you have this whole strip here for stickers or drawing. But now I have made a book with both the regular cinch and the mini cinch, and this book is a gift for Christmas to go with the reading books that I get. Sorry guys, my camera cut off on me, but to finish up this video, I wrapped 12 books. I put the month on the book so the child can open one every month, and now they have bookmarks to put in their chapter books. This was a little bit of a mess of an explanation, but I wanted to share it with you. Even though this is something I use, it may be something that you could use. You can also just gift bookmarks to a child. Give them something a little extra encouragement for reading. But that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please come to my Facebook page so that you can get your cinch log so that you know where to punch your holes, and also so you can download and print your bookmarks. Thanks guys for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and as always, happy crafting.